Let's get to this breaking news from Donald Trump, who has spoken of a phone call with Anthony Albanese that may well be coming soon. This morning he's spoken about it. Let's go to Trudy McIntosh, who's travelling with the Prime Minister's team. So what did Mr Trump say, Trudy?
Yeah, Donald Trump, classic Trump, I'd have to say here. He was thrown a question by an Australian journalist covering the US president there about whether he's willing to have discussions with Australia on the eve of the election about the tariffs that have been imposed, not only on steel and aluminium, but a whole range of other Australian goods. As you recall, we have not been able to get that phone call between the two leaders in the wake of the tariff decision. There, from the Australian government side, though, Pete, I can confirm still no confirmation at all whether this phone call is going to be scheduled before Saturday. In a statement, a government spokesperson has told me, though, that engagement with the US administration will continue. They're continuing to push for zero tariffs. Have a look at what the US president had to say and the reaction from Treasurer Jim Chalmers.
The Australian Prime Minister is having an election this weekend. Will you speak to him about trade?
They are calling and I will be talking to him, yes.
The Prime Minister has already had 2 discussions with him and it wouldn't be a surprise to anyone watching your program this morning that there'll be another conversation at some stage, and it's part of a broader effort really to engage with the Americans in relation to these tariffs.
The bus is rolling and we are headed to Canberra before the Prime Minister's address to the National Press Club today. The Prime Minister's flown ahead of us and he's preparing for that set-piece speech today. He's taken a swipe at Peter Dutton for refusing to do the same in this campaign or even address the National Press Club during the last 3 years. On that, we're expecting the closing pitch from Anthony Albanese to focus on Medicare once again, but he's likely to be pressed too on Labor's record in office, including the failed promise on power bills. On that today, we've seen this open letter from energy and nuclear experts calling for the ban on nuclear power to be lifted and also calling out what it believes has been the failed approach on renewables from the energy market operator.
When the wind doesn't blow, it doesn't blow. And the emo approach to this is build it and it'll work, and then add batteries. Now, I started my career in batteries, and batteries are buckets. You fill them up with electrons and then you empty them out. They don't produce electricity. So the AEMO plan is fatally flawed. It's known to be fatally flawed by all engineers and experts who studied the grid.
New polling in the 9 newspapers shows Labor continues to have a strong lead ahead of the coalition in two-party terms, 53-47. When you look at the primary, though, it is still slightly below where Labor was at the 2022 result, which means the potential of a minority government still very much in play. Here's what some voters had to say in Brisbane.
Anybody who was in office for the last 3 years, it's been a very hard time for them.
What's the number one thing you reckon?
That's the stability in the economy sort of thing is the one of the major ones, and the future as well.
The push towards the Greens has allowed, I guess the main parties like Labor and Liberal to push a bit further left and embrace some of these more forward-thinking policies.
After Press Club today, we're going to see the Prime Minister hit the plane, and we are going to 6 states, we're told, Pete, in the next 3 days. As for the Queensland seats, I know where you are in McPherson are considered in play, but also keep an eye on the seat of Bonner. It's been in Liberal hands since 2010, but Labor sources I've spoken to incredibly bullish about their chances of flipping that seat.